Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles, and I welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and where we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And all the drama has begun, and I got a lot that I want to get into in this episode, so you guys definitely want to stick around and listen to some of the things that Joel Embiid said. But before we get to that, make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Anyway, let me get into this topic here. Well, I guess the season is here. Media Day was just yesterday. Training camp begins today, and this obviously all depends on when you guys are going to see this video. But usually going into an NBA season, there's usually a lot of hype, right? There's a lot of drama. But the drama is centered on the games and the storylines. Which team is going to be this? Who's going to win MVP? Who's going to be this? Who's going to be that, right? Usually that's what it is in an NBA season. But in this particular season, there is some legitimate drama going on in the NBA. Obviously, we have the Kyrie Irving thing, which we're probably going to discuss later, or probably not. I don't know. But now, and also we have the Ben Simmons thing, right? The Ben Simmons thing is the big thing in the news, and we've done some videos about this. I've made my thoughts clear on this, and I'm going to say it again. I have said in many videos, and I'm going to say it again. I always thought that Ben Simmons is one of the laziest players I have ever seen play in the play in the NBA, probably ever. One of the laziest players. Some people take exception to it. How can you say something like that? Name me a player with this level of raw talent that Ben Simmons has. 6'10", extremely athletic, quick, fast, strong, has great court vision, has a lot of talent, but just refuses to develop and act like a professional. Refuses, right? Instead, we have people out there making, it's not all, some people out there making excuses for him. His agent obviously is working in his interest, and Rich Paul and these guys, obviously they're going to do what their client wants and all of these different things. Obviously they're advising him. But now that we got Media Day started, we're finally starting to hear from Ben Simmons' teammates. And one of the teammates a lot of us have been waiting to hear from was Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid is the best, he's the best player on that roster, but he was also one of the quote unquote culprits in the entire Ben Simmons situation, with him probably deciding not to remain a Philadelphia 76er. Why? Because at the end of that game game 7 against the Atlanta Hawks, where Ben Simmons scored 5 points. Think about this. 5 points. An all-star scored 5 points. I think he took like 4 shots in that game. At the end of that game, they asked Joel Embiid, when do you think the turning point in the game was? And Joel Embiid says, we had an open shot under the basket. I believe it was to tie the game or take the lead or whatever it was. I don't remember vividly right now. And we just blew that opportunity. Now, some people will say it's not fair, but you got to understand something about basketball. Basketball and a lot of other sports is built on momentum, right? Momentum is a thing that exists in sports. The Philadelphia 76ers were moving in a certain direction. They were gaining momentum. At that point, they could have tied the game. They lost their momentum, and he believes that was the turning point in the game. And I completely agree with Joel Embiid. You can tell that play took the entire crowd out of the game. If you were watching that game, you heard the entire crowd go, oh, like people were astonished that Ben Simmons passed up that shot. So Joel Embiid finally came back into Media Day, right? And they asked him about the Ben Simmons situation. And what I like about Joel Embiid is that he's very honest. He's very straightforward. He's not going to mince words. He's not going to bite his tongue for anyone. So before I go too far, I want you guys to take a listen to some of the things that Joel Embiid had to say about the entire Ben Simmons situation. And then we're going to come back and I'm going to give you guys my thoughts and opinions on some of the things that he had to say. So take a listen to that here.
We got to have self-awareness, and we got to figure out ways how to get better as players and, as a team. I'm figuring it out. I'm not perfect. Even talking about it, you guys always pick up, those one centers, even talking about it, I talked about, a few plays down the road, turned the ball over. I was a big part of it. I missed shots. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. It happens. All I can do is, try and, play hard, the hardest as hard as I can. But, we honestly, we just all got to grow up. I look at it in a way that, for example, if, I understand, being in trade rumors and all that stuff, but that's just part of the business. If I don't know, Golden State came and offered Steph and Clay for me, you think the Sixers would say no to that? They gotta say yes to that. I would say yes to that because, I mean, how do you say no to that? So, because that's what they do. They're always gonna find ways to get better. So you can't get mad at that. It's just the way it is. So I look at it in a way that, you just gotta move on, and you just gotta be, you just gotta be yourself, and do the best jobs you can, because we get paid to do all, and we get paid a lot of money. A lot of people don't make this type of money, but I just feel like it is a business. It's unfortunate to be in that situation. Personally, I never really gone through it, except probably 2 years ago when the whole city wanted me to get traded, even though you got stuff going off the court and stuff, but people don't really look at you as a human being, and that's not fair. But at the end of the day, you just gotta take care of your business. You gotta do what you gotta do, based on what you get paid for. So
now in that soundbite, Joel Embiid touched on a bunch of different things. First of all, he started off talking about what? Self-awareness. Why is this important? This is something I've been talking about for the longest time. Basically, what self-awareness means is the ability, in layman terms, to look in the mirror and judge yourself dispassionately. Look at yourself in perspective, right? Take a step back and look at yourself as if you were somebody else. If you do that, you will quickly begin to understand your strengths and your weaknesses, your flaws, different things you need to work on. Something obviously that Ben Simmons is not willing to do. One of the reasons why he still feels as if somehow he is the victim in this entire situation. So he spoke about that. He also spoke about, he also spoke about, being able to look at the sport as a professional, right? He spoke about the fact that how players are always, at one point or another, players are always going to be talked about being traded and all of these different things. But he said it's part of the business. It is part of the business. He even gave an example. If the Philadelphia 76ers were offered Klay Thompson and Stephen Curry, they would make the trade. He said, I would make the trade. I understand why. Because it's part of the business. Joel Embiid understands this very, very, very clearly. But to go back to my other point about being self-aware, Ben Simmons is acting as if that the criticism that he's receiving is unwarranted. Like as if his stats are not real. If you guys go back and look at Ben Simmons' stats, we've done this many times, I'm not going to do it again. If you just go look back and compare the last 2 seasons of this guy, you will notice that his numbers, he's actually been regressing. He has been regressing. I think Ben Simmons in the playoffs is a 14% three-point shooter, 14.7% three-point shooter. Man, this is crazy. It's not just about threes. The guy doesn't take shots outside the paint, but it just goes to show you that this guy has no self-awareness and he has no kind of urgency, or it doesn't seem like he has any kind of need or urgency to try to improve. But towards the end of that interview, he said something, the press conference, he said something that I thought was just golden. So before I go too far, I want you guys to take a listen to Joel Embiid finally state the obvious of what everybody's been thinking. So take a listen to that.
Noah Levick, NBC Sports Philly. You've talked in the past about how you love when Ben's aggressive, how you love when he shoots when open. If he does end up returning to your team, what specifically do you want to see from him on the court this season?
I mean, I'm sure we all seen videos. That will help because he has that potential. He has that potential to be that good.
Now, in that soundbite, Joel Embiid basically says he needs to shoot the ball. That would work. This is something everybody can understand. The only people that cannot understand this are Ben Simmons apologists. The fact of the matter is this: Ben Simmons will not shoot, is afraid to shoot, and I think one of the reasons he's afraid to shoot is because he doesn't practice enough. We gave this example in the past, I'm going to give it again. When you have to go take an examination in school, the only people that are nervous are the people that did not prepare for that test or haven't studied. If you study and you truly study and you work hard, you're going to go into an examination feeling confident. Do you feel a little bit of jitters? Absolutely. But you know, if you see a question that you know you study for, you're going to feel comfortable enough to answer it. And in some cases, you're going to be salivating to get the questions that you study for. That's usually how it works. In the NBA, it's the same thing. When guys practice their shots and all of these different things, guys are searching for their shots, their spots, right? They know this is going to be my money shot. This is going to be my money shot. You've heard in the NBA where guys says, I was picking my spots. I was trying to get to my spots. What does that mean? That means that they're trying to get the spots on the court where they're comfortable shooting because that's where they've practiced those shots hundreds, if not thousands of times over their career. That's what that means. And the reason Ben Simmons is not confident taking this shot, obviously there may be a mental block, but I just don't believe this guy practices that shot enough. If some people disagree with that, explain to me why he has such an abysmal free throw shooting percentage. The free throw line is where you just stand there and shoot all that, you just shoot by yourself. So to me, I'm glad that Joel Embiid said these things because I agree with every single thing that he says. And what I want to know from you guys is, what do you think about the comments that Joel Embiid had to make about Ben Simmons? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. Again, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Once again, it's just Charles here from Dreamerspro. Wishing you guys an amazing day and catch you guys on the next episode. Peace.